Welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. My name is Mark Storrs, recently back from COVID, and with me as always is...
Chris?
Thank you, Christopher. And...
Rob Morphy.
Thank you all so very much for joining us. Thank you for all the well wishes and comments and emails and messages that I got. I appreciate it. I'm much better. But, we're going to do a little bit of remote recording here just because I got to wear a mask and shit for the next 5 days and whatnot. But it's okay. We're here. We're doing it. The Cryptonaut podcast. Hanging
Safety
out with
first.
y'all.
Always
hanging out
with us.
Do not want to start giving Rob or Chris COVID. So we all have enough things happening right now that nobody needs to deal with this.
No, you're back from the dead. Chris is quickly descending back to the dead, and I'm somewhere between Audrey Rose and Rosemary's Baby right now. I'm not sure how much NyQuil I'm going to fucking deal with tonight, but we're here and we're doing it because, God damn it, we love you guys.
Yeah, there it is, and don't get old, kids. There's the
Jesus Christ,
don't get old. So
or take care of yourself. So when you are old, you can belay the effects for as long as possible.
That's right. Which we haven't done, but that's okay because we're here doing it, and we're going to give some Patreon shout-outs to some good folks that support us over at patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast.
Heck yes, we are, and we're going to begin with Matthias T.
Hell yeah, Matthias! Thank you so much.
Christopher Balzac Pavesi.
Yeah, what up, Christopher Balzac?
Eric Edson.
Hell yeah, Eric.
E.E. Elisa the Bog Witch and King Jeremy of No Pants. I believe that's a kingdom. The kingdom of No Pants.
I like it, man. I'm there. I dig it.
Benjamin to his friends, Francis.
Thank you, Ben Francis.
Frank Earl. I'm pretty sure I got that right. I pirated it up in Earl. But that's what I do when I see an I. If we got it right, great. If not, let us know.
All right.
Dino DNA. See, we're going to be walking all over each other, folks. Mark's going to be like being the shout-out guy. I'm going to be the talky guy, but it's going to be sloppy because we're remote. You'll just forgive us. Lindsay Marie.
Thank you, Lindsay.
James.
Oh, yeah, James.
Tangle Bones.
Nice.
What's nice, his name or the way I said it?
Both are awesome.
Jason Hackman.
Yeah, Jason.
Nick. Come on, Nick.
Nice.
About goddamn time. Chris Thompson.
Thank you, Chris.
Kira. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kira.
One and all.
Oh, I didn't even realize we got to the end because I lost my page that I was looking at my shout-outs. There it is. Yes, thank you all, one and all, for your Patreon shout-outs.
I mean, it's only been a week, in all fairness, but I feel like it's been a month, honestly. I feel like, we've been just gone forever. So we're just slow in getting back in the saddle, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, no, I'm still a little bit toasted from the old vid, but I think we're gonna get there. We're gonna bang this out. We're gonna make it happen. Unfortunately, we had to cancel our Discord movie night for the Prince of Darkness, but me and the boys are gonna talk, and we are going to reschedule that. So be on the lookout for that. We will announce it on the Patreon and the Discord when we will be rescheduling our movie night, probably in November. Hopefully, if schedules work. So check that out there. And yeah, there it is. That's for the announcements. And, now this is going to be a fun one. I got this email and I was like, this sounds kind of cool. I think I'm going to like this one. So this week, let's get started with real mystery shoppers.
It's so riddled with the paranormal, isn't it?
That's the thing. Until you read the intro and you're like, oh, good sir, the paranormal is here.
Groceries.
Yes.
Yes, groceries.
Yes.
From the people who brought you dogs and fish.
Real mystery shoppers. Let's get started with... When folks imagine encountering inhuman entities, they tend to envisage eerie, isolated, out-of-the-way locales like foreboding forests, murky marshes, or dark, desolate dirt roads. But dedicated Fortean investigators know all too well that bizarre beings can appear anywhere and at any time. And like the rest of us, sometimes they need to go shopping too. That says it all.
That really does. That really does.
All right.
Because you know what? Chores aren't just for us fuckers. Just so you know. We're
No.
all in this game of life, quote unquote, together, or afterlife, or super life, or whatever the fuck level you're on. I don't know about Dimension 11, what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, you still need to like clip your fucking toenails or the equivalent thereof. We are all on this boat together that we call existence. Is that broad enough? I don't know. It's the best I can do. I'm a human being and I'm limited. Without
All right,
further
man.
ado.
Let's do it.
Those of us who have spent enough time looking into the dark mysteries and outlandish accounts that have come down the paranormal pike know, better than most, that ghosts are not relegated to crumbling castles, monsters are not tethered to sinister swamps, and aliens aren't only found on spaceships or reluctant abductees' bedrooms. No, even though most of these enigmatic entities seem to lurk, by and large, on the fringes of our workaday reality, there are many that brazenly show themselves in the light of day, seemingly suffering the same everyday chores as their human counterparts, or, if they're lucky, enjoying some time off in popular vacation destinations. That's right, we'll be dealing with both today.
Oh, nice.
Our first case took place at about 5 p.m. sometime in March of 1954 and shows how one can offer to help a stranded stranger no matter where they come from. According to the August 25th, 1965 edition of the Flying Saucer Review, of course, we know and love that publication, a rice planter of German origin named Rubem Hellwig, not Rubin, Rubem Hellwig, was driving home through Santa Maria, Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, when he noticed a bizarre sight ahead of him. Parked in the road some 160 feet away was an ovoid object about the size of a Volkswagen, though it was not specified if by that he meant bug or bus, but in relative dimensions it's not that different, and was roughly the shape of a rugby ball. The German expat slowed his car to a halt. According to Rubem, there was a man seated inside the object who appeared to be just over 5 feet in height with a slim build and brownish complexion, not unlike so many early Men in Black descriptions, I might add. The agriculturist noticed another man of similar description was outside the vehicle picking capon's tail grass, and yeah, I had to Google that, and handing it to the man inside. For the record, capon's tail grass is a herbaceous, bushy, perennial plant with small purplish-white heart-shaped flowers that can grow to nearly 4 feet in height. And what this has to do with anything is anyone's guess, but because I took the time to look it up, you guys have to fucking know it now.
Yeah, I was going to ask exactly what that was. I'm
Flowers.
glad that
I'm
you
in.
filled me in.
Well, when someone is picking capon's grass and handing it inside the giant rugby ball to his fucking skinny, dusky-looking partner, you got to figure out what the fuck that is.
For sure.
Now we know. And apparently it's just beautiful little heart-shaped purplish flowers. Maybe it was a romantic interlude. I don't know. I just think it's lovely. The man bringing flowers to his companion turned and approached Rubem, revealing a small bottle containing a reddish liquid. Before the perplexed planter could mutter a word, the man politely asked him if he knew where he might find a small quantity of ammonia, which he required for reasons unknown. Instantly, Rubem realized that even though he could not recognize a word of the strange man's tongue, he could understand the meaning in his mind. We call that telepathy. Befuddled, Rubem directed the willowy figure to a drugstore in a nearby town. The man politely thanked him before returning to his craft and sitting next to his compatriot. Within seconds, Rubem's eyes widened as a, quote, circle of bluish-yellow luminosity appeared around the craft, making it appear round, and from each side of the cabin protruded 4 3-inch tubes, that's inch, 3-inch tubes. A yellowish flame shot out of these tubes, and the vessel vanished instantly, end quote. So, I'm thinking that's some eagle eye action on Rubem's part.
3 inches.
Just
Yeah.
3-inch tubes. Now, I had to Google this. The apostrophe after a number is a foot. The quote is inches.
Yes.
In every source I found, it was the quote, ergo inches. So apparently in this Volkswagen-sized rugby ball, 3-inch tubes emerged, flames shot out, and this fucker vanished in a fucking halo of bluish-green light.
I mean,
So, badass.
You kind of want it to be feet, though. You
kind of do.
Yeah.
Like, I desperately want, say, Albert Rosales, who, of course, wrote about this in his humanoid catalogs, and he is just an invaluable resource and an excellent researcher and author and a guy who we couldn't hold in higher esteem. I want that to have been a typo on his part. So bad. But on the other hand, I love the idea of these dainty little 3-inch fucking tubes popping out of nowhere, just... and then flames just gushing out like fucking Wile E. Coyote fucking Chuck Jones style.
I know, but man, if they were 3 foot, it would just be tearing ass out
no,
of
because
there.
then it's a hot rodder. Then it's like fucking badass.
That's exactly it, too. It's got fucking
We'll never
V8
know.
in it. Yeah, all right,
We'll
cool.
likely never know. Were it not for the unusual make of the vehicle, the oddness of its occupants, or its truly jaw-dropping takeoff, this story would be little more than an average, everyday interaction between strangers. But we are left to wonder, why the hell is civilization capable of creating a vehicle that can vanish in the blink of an eye still requires the kind of presumably fossil fuels that belch flames, and while on this kick, did they need to find ammonia? Like, I don't know what they need. Maybe someone had a boo-boo. Maybe, I don't know. What do you use ammonia for? I know you can't mix it with, like, bleach or mopping glue because my mom always likes to tell me it creates nerve gas and that I will kill myself if I continue to mop in the fashion I choose, which is mixing ammonia with anything I have handy.
Yeah,
And
no,
apparently, I make my kitchen into a World War I battlefield.
it's not good. Don't. You're making mustard gas, dude. It's
So-
not good.
So you and my mom are on this kick, whatever, just trying to fuck with me when I'm just trying to keep a clean house. And fucking, that having been said, like, I don't know, iodine, I confused it with iodine. You don't put ammonia on wounds. See, this is why I can't be a triage nurse. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on a battlefield at all, like, except crying.
Bobby's pouring
shit.
ammonia over battle wounds.
Got a
Musket
bad
balls.
cut. Grab the fucking Mr. Clean.
I fucking hate ammonia, by the way. I hate the way it smells. I hate the way
same.
it is. But I use it, and I will mix it with all sorts of shit because it cleans like a motherfucker.
Just mix it
Not
with water.
open
and-
wounds.
There you go. Yeah, don't
All right.
inhale that shit.
I'm an idiot. Let that stand. For his part, Rubem claimed that early the next day, he, according to Albert Rosales' report, again, God bless the man, quote, encountered the same or a similar machine sitting on the highway. This time it contained a tall, fair-complexioned man and 2 women with slanting eyes and long black hair. All 3 were dressed alike in one-piece brown garments resembling suede leather with a zipper-type closure. Oh, stylish and hot is all I'm getting here. They called to Hellwig, and an extensive conversation ensued, the beings using their own language, which has no more than 15 letters and sounds musical, together with telepathy. He was invited to view the craft, which was less than 10 feet long and transparent in the front. The source gives details of its construction and propulsion. So this is the source that Rosales is citing that I don't know about, really, to be honest. Those people came from a planet called Orion, not Orion, but with an A, which is far beyond the farthest star known to our world, which is saying something,
Okay.
but saying a lot less actually in the fucking 50s. So Pluto, it's beyond Pluto,
Nice.
and is ruled by a monarchy. When the UFO departed, there was only a slight breeze, no sound. Sometime after its experience, Hellwig, and this is another quote, began to experience mental phenomena which so far medicine has been unable to either cure or explain. That's one of those wide open, batshit
What?
crazy, awesome statements that you have to savor.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
All of medicine, all of 1954 medicine is unable to explain or cure this man's fucking mental phenomena.
Okay. Well,
And just
cool.
let that sit in your mouth like fucking Cool Ranch Doritos and like
ammonia.
like a mint tea fucking cough drop with a dash of ammonia while we move on to our next encounter, which is as brief as it is baffling.
All right.
On an afternoon sometime in 1965 in San Angel, Mexico City, a man named Enrique Mercado Oru, I think I'm saying it right, stepped out of a local store after purchasing a package of cigarettes to see a light-skinned, silver-haired man admiring his car, which was a stylish sedan-style vehicle known as an Opel. I've looked at them. They are stylish sedan-style vehicles. So, Google it if you want to know. As he approached the stranger, Enrique noticed that the man's features looked much younger than his shock of silver hair implied, and that he was probably only in his mid to late 20s. Before Enrique could get too close, the man began walking away. So far, so good. That's when the silver-haired stranger did something that would haunt the eyewitness for the rest of his life. Enrique could only stare in frank astonishment when, without warning, the man hovered off the ground and drifted away as if, quote, gliding over the rocky terrain, end quote.
Oh.
Just dude digging on his car, appreciating what's going on.
Is this
drift?
Is this the fabled Undertaker float?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 100% that, combined with, what was that, the ghostly scarecrow of Chiang Rai, which was probably a balloon, but definitely wasn't a balloon and was totally an alien. But shut the fuck up, it was a balloon.
I love when shit floats away. It's so awesome.
I do too. It's the best.
It's my favorite.
It really is. And all of a sudden it validates all the other fucking floating humanoids that don't fly but float that are all seen, south of Texas. From Mexico down to God knows where, Patagonia, there are floating vertical dudes and chicks that are just doing their fucking thing, giving fucks about gravity. Zero fucks.
We have some flying humanoid videos on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Cryptonaut podcast. Oh, sneaking
Segue.
in. Nice.
Who was this mysterious silver-haired stranger, and why was it that a being capable of flight, or at least low-level gliding, would be admiring a decidedly earthbound mode of transport? Perhaps aliens, we folk, and other ethereal entities are just as enthralled by shiny trinkets, doodads, and baubles as we are. I mean, who isn't going to love a high-finned Cadillac from the mid-50s? Anyone with fucking some sort of aesthetic sense about them. All right, no, not people that want to preserve the earth and hate fossil fuels, but, just from an aesthetic point of view, it's fucking gorgeous.
You gotta stop and admire.
Who's to say that tourists from other worlds, be they near or far, don't come here to wallow in humanity's delightfully decadent piles of great big gaudy useless things? Perhaps the way Soviet citizens used to cast covetous eyes towards the U.S. and our Levi-clad bottoms, maybe ghosts, trolls, or Venusians pine for handbags by Gucci or Saint Laurent. I don't know, but why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want our fancy Opel sedans?
Do they want our iPhones, Robert?
They do. They do. And our iWatches? No, I call them iWatches. I hear they're called Apple Watches, and I get chastised by the youth all the time when I call them iWatches.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
But what the fuck?
There.
Everything else was I until then.
All right.
All right. So are you guys ready for the third?
Ready.
Our third case comes to us from Michael D. Sword's 2005 book, Grassroot UFOs, Reports from the Center for UFO Studies, and proves that it isn't just the human race who are suckers for the wiles of old Uncle Walt and his first foray into creating the ultimate tourist trap. In 1965, a family was on vacation in what was touted to be the happiest place on Earth, the now legendary Disneyland in Anaheim, California. The matriarch of said family, who, understandably considering the circumstances, decided to remain anonymous, claimed that she was perusing curios in a small souvenir shop when she heard a masculine voice say, "Hello." Unsure if she was being addressed, the woman ignored the greeting. Once again, the voice said, "Hello," and this time the woman stood up and looked around the shop. The only ones present were her husband, who was absorbed in a display case at her side, her children, the clerk, and a single customer who was being checked out. None of them were looking in her direction. The voice then announced, "I'm speaking to you." At this, the perplexed mother and wife spun around and spied an individual who seemed to have simply appeared out of nowhere. She described him as an extremely tall man with very strong facial features and large, pointed ears. Suddenly, the woman was overcome by a rush of fear, which the man evidently sensed before communicating the words, "Don't be afraid." The fact that she heard the words clearly, even though his mouth never moved a muscle, left the woman flummoxed. He then went on to tell her that he was a Volusian, and that, like her, he was on vacation. How fucking nuts is that?
So not
Venusian, Volusian.
That sounds like some trickery bullshit right there.
And, who's not going to go? I mean, he just opens up Disneyland. Who knows what Disneyland / Disney World / Disney Empire, when it finally becomes a religious, like the Holy Roman Empire that takes over most of the known galaxy with the Kwisatz Haderach and all, because it's going to combine. They'll eventually own Dune like they own everything. I mean, who knows what kind of time travelers are not going to want to come back and make a pilgrimage to the first temple of Disney, which, of course, was Disneyland in Anaheim way back when.
A Volusian. Okay.
It could be a Volusian, but I think it's a Volusian.
Volusian.
Yes.
Got it.
On vacation in Disneyland.
Disneyland.
65.
Oh, man.
Fuck yeah.
Because why not?
All the while the pointy-eared entity was speaking, the woman was desperately trying to get her husband's attention by grabbing at him, but he seemed blissfully unaware of her efforts. Fucking typical mid-20th century husband. She later described the moment, quote, "By this time I was terrified because I had never encountered anything like this before, and I am trying to get my husband up, By this time I got him, he's going, 'What's wrong?' And I said, 'This man here,' and by the time he got up, the man had vanished. Out the door vanished or just vanished." End quote. This prompted her to wonder, what am I doing? Am I losing my mind? The poor lady. Whether the witness was, strictly speaking, sane or not, it seems that non-human beings are just as enthralled by amusement parks as the rest of us, and are evidently just as obliged to pick up souvenirs for those who were unable to be there with them. And I just love the fact that it's just this dude, and he's just trying to get her attention. I don't know why. Maybe can you Earth suggest some cool gifts for me? Maybe you just wanted to have a simple conversation. Maybe you wanted to get deep into, I don't know, how nukes and environmental problems are going to be an issue like all aliens do. Maybe you wanted to have an illicit affair, like a secret little, I can create a little pocket in time and, you can love on me like I'm your little Spock lover. Even though I don't know, when the hell was Star Trek, 63? I don't know when that shit started.
It's a weird cheating scenario in the middle of a Disney store.
If you can freeze time, is it really cheating? I would venture to say yes, probably.
I'm gonna say yes, yeah.
Because you're having sex with somebody you're not married to, so
in the middle of a Disney souvenir store, yeah, and then in a frozen pocket in time.
But if it actually happened in no time at all, how could it have happened at all?
Well, try this with your future wife and see how it works out.
No, I won't. No.
Okay. All right, there you go.
No, I'm strictly a Volusian guy, in case you didn't know.
All right, man.
I like my pointy-eared ladies. All right,
there you
so
go.
She's questioning her sanity. We don't know what's going on. And that's why we move on to our fourth encounter, which occurred near La Coruna, Spain on an evening in 1969. According to SIB Beetlejuice, a nonprofit organization dedicated to the investigation of anomalous phenomenon from a scientific point of view, siblings Olga and Manuel Lambau, who were respectively 5 and 7 years old at the time, had gone to a nearby store with a babysitter. For some reason, perhaps because it was a close-knit community or the fact that in 1969 stranger danger had yet to become a rule of thumb, 5-year-old Olga was left outside of the establishment while her brother and babysitter went inside. Soon after, Olga glanced skyward and noticed a bright light scorching downward at tremendous speed. Within a few seconds, the child could make out that what she was looking at was a circular object haloed by an array of blinding lights. Terrified, the little girl ran into the store to tell her babysitter what she saw, but found that everyone inside the market was frozen in their tracks, as if caught in some kind of stasis field.
Oh, shit.
Finally, she found her babysitter and big brother, To her immense delight, he was the only other person not in a state of suspended animation. Showing fortitude beyond their years, the siblings made their way back outside, and that's when they saw that the orbicular object had landed not far away. Suddenly, a pair of masculine figures in what looked to be tight-fitting pilots' jumpsuits descended from the craft via a quote-unquote luminous tube-like extension located at the base of the object. Upon seeing the horrified observers, the tall beings beckoned for them to come closer. Once again showing more moxie than prudence, the pair complied, and even accepted an invitation to tour their unique vessel. The siblings marveled at the high technology on display, including a large room full of monitors and a star map on which one of the visitors showed Olga their homeworld, which they referred to as Aldebaran. At which point, Manuel and his sister were escorted off the vehicle with the often unkept promise that they would all meet again.
In Aldebarge?
Yeah, can you imagine the whole family debarge? Beating to the rhythm of the night as they are wont to do?
Come on,
They
Chris.
met Alderaan and it blew up.
Dance until the morning. Oh my God,
They went to
Alderaan and
Alderaan.
debarge.
Dude, what if you're on Alderaan listening to Debarge and Aldebarge and it blows up? You get Andor.
Ooh, boy.
Ooh. Nobody wants to talk about that, do they? Yeah, I run silent. Give me a look. It's okay. It's okay.
Whether the Aldebarans were good to their word is unknown, as is their agenda. Maybe they had business unknown with the young siblings, or perhaps, like so many of us wish we could, they merely froze time itself in order to avoid midday shopping crowds, and for some reason their mesmerizing didn't affect the children. I don't know what's going on. This, I admit, is a loose association with mystery shoppers, but the fact that there is an entire store full of frozen shoppers is absolutely fascinating to me. Obviously, the Aldebarans aren't necessarily shopping or not shopping. I can't swear to what they're doing. But the fact that they took the time, and maybe there was no one on the street to be frozen. Maybe everyone in the village got frozen. I mean, we don't know. I just know a little girl, unfortunately named Olga, ran inside the store to find everyone else frozen but her big brother. And they were the sole witnesses to this. But it involves the store, so damn it, it made it through by my own accounting.
Mystery shoppers, dog. There it is.
There it is. Our final case. You guys ready for this? Comes to us from author and folklorist Patty A. Wilson by way of Cole Herald's January 20th, 2022 breakdown of this fascinating encounter, Close Encounters of the Shopping Kind, the Century 3 Mall Alien.
Oh, nice.
And it is a doozy. In June of 2020, Jesus Christ, 2008, when I just got 2008, nice fucking 2008, a 65-year-old woman known only as Barbara was shopping at the now. All right, so I'm gonna learn to read again. The now defunct Century 3 Mall, located along Route 51 in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, approximately 10 miles southeast of downtown Pittsburgh. So now we know where we're at. Nestled somewhere, I'm sure. And though this fact likely has nothing to do with the incident that we are about to cover, it bears mentioning that the mall was built in 1979 over a slag dump, because one never takes diabetes, the devil, or toxic mutants off the table.
That slag dump will get you every time, dog.
It just sounds so nasty. That's so like 1960s marble. That's so like where the thing's nemesis comes from. The old slag dump in Pittsburgh.
Mesotheliomaville. Slag.
Oh my God. Mesothelioma, man. Recently having become wheelchair bound, Barbara decided that the best remedy for the deep funk she found herself in would be to go out into the world and engage in her favorite pastimes. As such, she and her husband went to go shopping and take in a movie at Century 3. Like most middle-aged husbands, Barbara's had little interest in rifling through endless racks of clothing and decided to find a comfortable perch on one of the benches in the center of the mall to wait until his wife had finished browsing. Barbara wheeled herself into a nearby store and made her way into the men's department to find something for her other half when she noticed a commotion not far away. It was a sight not at all uncommon in any shopping center, that of a young mother dragging a tantrum-throwing child out of a store. But there was something different happening here. Barbara noted that the boy that was digging in his heels was crying out not in frustration but eagerness, exclaiming, "I want to see." The mother, however, was showing none of her son's enthusiasm. She looked positively petrified as she pulled her child toward the exit, muttering in a strained tone, "No, we need to leave now." Within moments, the duo had disappeared, leaving Barbara to wonder what had frightened the woman so. But as she wheeled around the corner clothing rack, she stopped dead and her breath caught in her throat. Barbara now understood exactly what had terrified the mother, as it was standing directly in front of her. She instantly knew that the humanoid figure was a male. He was wearing blue slacks and a plaid shirt that could have been taken off of any of the racks around them. But that's where the normalcy ceased and the weirdness began. Because just as surely as she recognized the being to be masculine, she also knew that what she was looking at was not human. The entity before her was bald, with a wrinkly gray epidermis riddled with malignant-looking wart-like bumps. His eyes were large and almond-shaped and almost, but not entirely, black in color. The being noticed Barbara in the same instant, but instead of being repulsed by the smaller human, it simply stepped toward her, beaming in what the witness recalled was a, quote, warm, friendly smile, unquote. Unnerved, the woman shifted her gaze for just a second, but that was enough time for the kindly creeper to vanish without a trace. Barbara was perplexed, as there was nowhere the figure could have gone. It was as if it had disappeared in mid-stride. Not sure what else to do, Barbara quickly wheeled over to one of the cashiers and asked to speak to a security officer. The sentry approached her, and Barbara told him that she was looking for a particularly odd man. The officer, assuming perhaps that the suspicious character had somehow intimidated the vulnerable elder, escorted the witness into the back room where they kept the security footage and had her look through the video. As Barbara watched the images flicker by, she began to feel guilty. What if the individual that had startled her so had been nothing more than a poor soul with a terrible skin condition, just trying to go out and buy some clothes like anyone else? Had she leapt to a terrible conclusion, dehumanizing a fellow human being simply because of his appearance? As she silently berated herself, the security footage showed her rounding the corner to confront absolutely nothing.
Oh, dun dun dun. It's in your mind, Barbara. It's in your mind.
It was always in your mind, Barbara. Also, they're coming to get you, Barbara.
That's
for
right.
Halloween.
They're definitely coming to get you.
Oh, shit.
Stunned, Barbara watched as she reacted to naught but thin air before quickly wheeling to the cashier. This enigmatic entity, whatever it may have been, was not captured by the camera. The confused and frightened woman asked the security guard to fetch her husband, who was growing increasingly worried, not, as one might think, by his wife's delicate psychological state, but by the prospect of being late for the movie they'd come to see, A Man After My Own Heart.
There
the fuck
you
are
go.
you doing? Trailers are just as important as the movie.
God damn it.
As he rushed his wife towards the cinema, she tried to tell him what it was that she had and hadn't seen. But preoccupied, he told her to tell him about it later. As he daredeviled her wheelchair through the shopping throngs, Barbara could not help but to scan the faces of all those she passed, in dread of spying the same splotchy morass of gray, varicose flesh standing above her. But the being, if indeed it was still there, did not make his presence known. When the couple finally arrived home a few hours later, Barbara decided not to confide in her husband what she had seen. After all, she knew for a fact that there was no proof on the videotapes of the encounter, and she had no way of tracking down the mother and son who she surmised had also seen the inhuman thing just moments before. She wanted to put the whole thing behind her and forget it ever happened, which is exactly what she managed to do. For a while, anyway. As time passed, Barbara had all but forgotten her strange encounter with the hideous gray being. That was until she happened upon an article in an early October edition of the Pittsburgh Tribune Review that revolved around a UFO sighting. For some reason, this article sent a chill through her veins, and her hands began to tremble as memories of her all-too-close encounter with the plaid-clad creature came rushing back to her. Barbara became convinced not only that the entity was an extraterrestrial, but also that it had somehow altered her memory, making her forget all about him. So she's got all sort. I mean, it's sort of like a lot of people claimed when they saw Whitley Strieber's cover to Communion.
Yep.
They said the triangular shape isn't right, but the face came back, flooded their mind with a rush of memory. And Chris and I, we've all discussed this, I think, on the podcast and privately, admitted that book cover scared the bejesus out of us when we first saw it. I don't think that necessarily means that it's because we are abductees, and I think it's because it's a really haunting image. But for a lot of people, it came... it seemed to open the floodgates to, what they perceived to be actual memories of abduction. And so maybe just reading about a UFO and an ET encounter was enough to trigger it for her. I'm not trying to second guess it too much. It just seems odd that a random UFO article is what does it, but whatever. Right. And now she's obsessed with the fact that this thing, whatever it was, is an alien, and it had the power to make her forget, even though she had wished to forget at the time. But who the fuck knows?
And that's going to send you down a long road of paranoia.
Oh, my God,
You're going to start double and triple guessing everything.
And that's tough. That's just no way to live.
No, not at all.
Barbara then began sharing her experience with her family and friends, and even went so far as to reach out to the Western Pennsylvania branch of MUFON. Before long, she was interviewed by the regional MUFON director, John Venter. I think I'm saying it right. Wasn't he the dude that was on fucking, what was it called? Hangar One on the History Channel, back 10 years ago, maybe less. I don't know.
His
the
name
bald
sounds,
guy.
Yeah, his name sounds familiar.
Anyway, she was interviewed by John Venter, who felt her to be truthful. He began digging into the encounter and was surprised to find that Barbara was not the only one who saw something anomalous at that location that day, as another witness also claimed to have seen a UFO in the area of the mall. Now, again, this is a quote. Fuck all if I know what the area of the mall is. Was it seen somewhere near Pittsburgh? Was it seen over the mall? Was it seen... I mean, if somebody saw a UFO directly over the mall within an hour of it happening... That to me is going to have a different patina than somebody in eastern Pennsylvania saw a UFO. Who the fuck knows? I mean, maybe it's coincidental. Maybe it's genuinely corroborative. I can't speak to that right now, but I have to lend a skeptical eye to it until, I can dig up more evidence as to how fucking close this UFO was.
Parking lot.
If it was, then that's really impressive.
There you go. Cafe Square, dog.
Venter would conclude his findings thus, quote, "Normally, I would write this report off as a hoax, but she never changed her story and was completely convinced that what she saw was an extraterrestrial being," end quote. That having been said, why should one assume that it was an ET? Granted, the corresponding UFO sighting is undoubtedly compelling, again with all the caveats I just mentioned, but who's to say we're not dealing with a shopping specter? Or a fashionable fae. John Keel and others have written extensively about the significance plaid shirts play in paranormal encounters. We all know about that shit with the grinning men and whatnot. In particular, I'm jumping my own gun. In particular, with the phenomenon known as grinning men. And if there was one notable aspect in Barbara's run-in, it would have to be the creature's quote-unquote warm, friendly smile. Not quite the same as the predatory grin of Indrid Cold, but compelling nonetheless. And that really is interesting to me. Even through her terror, even through the repulsive nature of its features, at least to our eye and what we love bilateral symmetry and baby faces basically. And there's been studies galore about the cleaner, simpler, more symmetrical faces are, the more human beings find them appealing, which is not to say that is ubiquitous throughout all life, throughout the universe or other dimensions or wherever else. So, the fact that she could discern that it seemed to be a warm, friendly smile, even through features that she found personally repugnant, to me is really telling. And that either this entity had a sort of, again, a mesmerizing ability that made her feel at ease even when she didn't want to feel at ease because she knew something was dangerous. That's my paranoid side, or my more, prosaic side saying, maybe it was just a friendly creature that looks ugly to us.
True.
That's Kobayashi Maru, my friend. Oh.
In what way?
Yeah, explain how that's a no-win situation.
Just give it to me, man. All right.
I did. Yeah, I did in my heart. I'm like, this man just got over COVID. He's been taking it tough. You know what? You accept this and you move on. But then there was that part of me, that little Trekkie in me that was going, the fuck you are.
Hey, I got Chris to crack up, so there.
That's all that mattered.
I won. Kobayashi Maru.
You just like saying that.
I know.
Who doesn't? I mean,
I say it all the time.
That's fascinating. It's fun
constantly.
to say.
Every time I'm like at work and I gotta like work on something, I'm like, it's the Kobayashi.
Like whenever you come up like on a rusted nut and you don't fucking have the arm strength, this is my Kobayashi Maru right here.
Better get the grinding out, the grinder with the grinding wheel. Better grind this fucker out. Maybe get the acetylene torch.
Is it WD-40 or Kobayashi Maru? Which one's gonna save the day? All right, so we're getting close to the end here. When all is said and done, why shouldn't the myriad beings we share our world with, be they from Magonia, the inner earth, another dimension, or outer space, not also be subject to the same grind as the rest of us? The need to shop for food, clothes, or small portions of ammonia. Do leprechauns really never need to hit the laundromat? Are aliens never hungry? Don't the dead love roller coasters too? Perhaps paranormal investigators should stop occupying spooky asylums in the dead of night and start staking out the toiletries aisle of a Walmart on a Saturday afternoon. After all, everybody needs to stock up on essentials, and I am willing to bet that the need for shit paper is not a humanity exclusive.
No,
Thus ends.
real mystery shoppers. I mean, I don't know about you, Robert, but I know that Chris and I worked in retail for a bit, and I'm sure there's a couple of people that come to mind that Chris and I can attest to that were probably fucking complete aliens. So,
oh, definitely. I worked the night shift at a lot of skeezy gas stations, a couple of motels, and so yes, I'm not entirely unfamiliar with the Men in Black factor of all of that bullshit. But what I can't reject, what I refuse to reject wholesale, is that, all right, so you're a lofty alien and you probably teleport your shit to the shit dimension where it's used to fertilize more shit and it eats shit and everything's shit and it's great because shit loves shit.
Right.
Fucking whatever. That's what happens because you're high tech. But the fairies, the fucking gnomes, the things that are, I don't fucking know, that are just like lesser, are like us, but just existing on a different plane. Shit's hard. Sometimes you got to farm, sometimes you got to butcher, sometimes you got to ranch, and when you get advanced enough like us, you still have to go to the fucking store and be inconvenienced and buy shit you need, like batteries. My reading light bulb just blew right above my fucking bed, and I'm like, well, fuck. I'm probably not going to go shopping tonight. I'm probably going to angrily read under a low wattage bulb because that's the inconvenience of me right now.
Dude, a flashlight,
I don't think an elf has never had to experience this. They can't just magic up a big flame every time they want it.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a high elf, but not all elves.
I mean, they're all magic inherently.
But that's the thing.
It's just a cantrip. It doesn't even cost anything.
I mean, you guys are all right, but here's what I'm distilling it down to. Everyone, including myself, we've all just assumed that the different means, if not superior, at least not enslaved to the laws of day-to-day irksome existence. Why shouldn't we assume that fucking goblins have dumb shit to do and that fucking maybe too many pixies play the fucking lottery and just other dumb shit that we all fall prey to isn't stuff that other creatures that we elevate in our lack of knowledge don't also fall prey to? I mean, we are made in fucking, if you're a Christian, or anything of the Abrahamic religions, you believe the human race was made in quote unquote God's image. Well, does that mean fucking God has occasionally fucking gotten shit on his finger because he, wiped too hard and fucking broke the toilet paper?
Oh,
maybe. I mean, I know that sounds sacrilegious, but I'm saying, aren't we all in the same boat? Don't we all suffer the same bullshit? Should we not find some sort of comfort in the communion of life is tough and we're doing the best we can?
Yeah, and I mean, having to do that small dumb shit, whether it's like grocery shopping, or I gotta go get the truck washed, or I gotta go to Target to check out Pops, or I better go to GameStop to see if my pre-orders never show up, stuff like that. This is everyday cool shit. I mean, it sucks and it can get mundane, but at the same time, it's like it's life. It's like it's what you spend most of your time doing is puttering from one retail spot to another, spending money, and just doing your normal daily shit. So why shouldn't goblins do that?
Of most 21st century, especially Western civilization people, but people around the world. And you're absolutely right. But, I mean, fairy lore is full of the fae stealing human babies and trading them off. Like sometimes giving fae babies to be raised by humans. Why wouldn't, brownies love their children too, as Sting might have sung if they were from the Soviet Union in the 80s. I mean, why you don't hear about this day-to-day minutia of raising kids. You do hear about alien hybrid babies being shown to their birth mothers and birth fathers, and then they're being allowed to be snuggled a little bit and then taken away. But even if you are more callous and Vulcan-like in your logical attitude towards life, do you still not give a fuck? Are you still not invested? Do you still not have to at least build the technology to change a diaper or whatever? Like, to me, that's the one very neglected part in all of this. I mean, we assume cryptids are animals, so they do all the shit animals do, like a bear shitting in the woods or fucking foraging for food or whatever else. But these higher beings, again, whether they be Magonia-based or outer space-based or interdimensional-based, we often tend to think that they've kind of elevated beyond the point of these menial concerns, and probably some of them they have. But most of them, I highly doubt it. And again, not just the drudgery, the Velusian that wants to go to fucking Disneyland. I'm here shopping too. I'm here on vacation. I'm just hanging out. I just wanted to say hi. I wanted to get your advice on is this price reasonable? I don't know. The exchange rates are fucked. I use gold and fucking spells. That's my exchange.
How do you figure that out? If you're like, all right, I got some $50 here. We're a changed base economy, so let's figure this out. Like, yeah, I mean, I would like to think that, that they do the same dumb, stupid shit that we do. Whether, like you said, going to the movies, fucking a trip to Target, man, that'll change your whole week. You get a good, solid trip to Target, maybe a Marshalls, a Mega Marshalls, if you're lucky. There you go. Hit up Five Guys. It's a good fucking day, man.
Oh, my gosh, the food. I mean, just the food trip alone. When you travel abroad, eating the local cuisine is part of the joy. Yes, finding something that's homespun that kind of ground you is cool too, but mostly exploring with your palate is the most exciting part for me. Why wouldn't they be just going hog wild on all this stuff? And dude, fucking looking like a goddamn Matango mushroom head in the middle of fucking J.C. Penney, but he's got his fucking sweet blue trousers and his sweet fucking plaid shirt, and he's shopping there because fuck, where else are you gonna buy that shit? And this is what he loves. And when he goes back home to wherever the fuck he goes, people are like, God damn, Climamac, you look fucking boss. What do you call that pattern? Plaid. Fucking wonderful.
And then that's how all the grinning men get their plaid shirts.
Oh, dude. I mean, it is a uniform. Climamac.
Yeah, Climamac.
Yeah, no, man, I'm down. I mean, I want to believe that, even though they are some higher beings, that they got some dope shit happening too. They're like, I'm going to go check out the new comic shop. I'm going to go look at some records. Me and Chris, go fucking Walmart runs. Like, get your buddy and go to a Walmart run. Go do some dope shit. Go look at action figures that are never in stock.
We used to make Borders runs back in the day, Chris and I.
Borders
and you and I
runs.
too. All of us, we would go to comic shops in Syracuse.
Media play, Borders, there you go. Well, there you have it, man. I think, I mean, obviously, skeptically speaking, these people could just be having, they could be hallucinating, just, possibly.
The beaties.
Well, or like most things we cover, skeptically speaking, it could be misidentified. It could, just be some really fucking weird dude in the store. Chris and I worked retail. There's a lot of really fucking weird people that
I would agree with you.
Oh, yeah.
That the Barbara episode could definitely have just been a really unfortunate motherfucker. I mean, very easily, except that he doesn't show up on camera.
That's weird.
That's the gimme.
Vampire.
And you go the same thing. Like, what rational explanation freezes everybody in a supermarket except for a pair of siblings? You know,
There's no explanation there.
And if you can find any way to rationally explain why a VW-sized rugby ball only has 3-inch long tailpipes that shoot flames, if you can give me a rational explanation, sir, then I gladly concede the Crypto Kid title, and you are Crypto King.
Christopher, I need you to defend my honor. How does this work with 3-inch tubes of fire?
I feel like that's just like supplement. I don't feel like that's the actual propulsion system. That's just that's just fancy. That's like adding sticker flames to your fucking car, thinking that's like.
Oh my God,
that's the flare.
Can you imagine adding
it's just
warp
flare.
drive to your Hot Wheels and just fucking just putting the sticker decals on because you want it to look boss?
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
man.
I mean, that's all it is.
Oh, I love it. I fucking love it.
Like,
I mean, 3-inch flare is pretty not impressive, really. But
we don't know how big the fire was. 3-inch tube, 4-foot flare. Massively impressive.
that could be true too. I
now
don't know.
that would be impressive of a ship, especially if it just fucking tears ass out of there. You're like, God damn, come on now, look at this fucking vehicle from outer space. And you're fucking loving it.
So I would admonish our listeners this before they leave us this fine eve or morning or whenever you're listening to this. Don't just keep your eyes peeled in the strange places. When you are visiting Disney World or Six Flags or wherever the fuck you are, when you are doing the mundane shit at the laundromat or the supermarket, just look around. Look for the little bit of quirky. Look for the whatever thing that triggers you, or like the old lady that knocks over the salt and runs away like a fucking cat on fire because paranormal shit can't deal with salt, or whatever it is, and just be like, oh yeah, there's a possibility that there is a mental illness involved. There's a possibility of a lot of different things. There's also the possibility that they're just motherfuckers like you that just happen to be a completely different species, maybe from a completely different place, that are just having to go about the workaday bullshit that we all have to endure to get through this life. And in that, I think we can find real communion with the others out there.
There you go. There you have it. Thank you all so very much. Real mystery shoppers. Hey, also, too, I forgot to mention this at the very top of the show. This episode, boys, is coming out on Halloween.
What?
Oh,
Happy
shit,
Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm still excited because technically we're recording this on the 25th.
Yeah.
So we got 6 more days. And now, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like I'm cheating on Halloween when I watch a horror film November 3rd. But some of the magic's gone. Like, it's Halloween year-round for all of us. We all love our horror films. Autumn still is going to exist, hopefully, for a little while. But there is something so special about October 1st to October 31st. The scary movies, the music, all of the accoutrement. You know, and I've shared it with my niece and nephew, and now my great nephew, and soon to be my great niece when she's more than 6 months old and can appreciate it. And it's just it's a perfect world to live in, like October life, as far as I'm concerned. So everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed it because it'll be on the cusp of it. But you can carry it with you throughout the rest of the year. But let's all look forward to next October again because it's gorgeous and perfect and literally flawless by design.
If you keep Danzig close to your heart, it's Halloween all year round.
Bless your heart.
There it is, including on
Halloween's
Thanksgiving.
legs are like Danzig's. Small and strong, and they will carry you when you can't carry yourself.
when I couldn't walk, Danzig carried me. Oh man!
Holy shit!
There you have it, Cryptonaut podcast. Thank you.
When I couldn't do leg day,
when I could, Danzig carried me.
Danzig carried me.
Do your legs mark? Yeah. That's my Danzig. I'm not going to keep doing it because I'm fucking, my voice sucks. But thank you all so very much for joining us, Cryptonaut Podcast. We got some merch, folks. Hellerspace.com, CryptonautMerch.com. Those 2 websites. Check it out. Get all your shopping done there. Coming up, what do we got? We got it's cold out. That's what it is. Yeah, it's cold. So get yourself some hoodies and some long sleeves and grab a tote. What the hell? Grab yourself a nice little fall tote when you're walking around the stores.
Bundly close. I love totes too. I used to carry a backpack with me everywhere, all the time.
There you go.
You never know when you need to draw or write or change your clothes or who the fuck knows what.
No, do all
Have
that.
a quick
Hook
lunch,
that up.
a thermos full of whatever. Come on.
Keep it in your tote. Yeah, keep it in your totes.
Uranium. I mean,
Oh, Manhattan Project.
I guess it was me.
You guys remember that terrible 80s movie where the kid built a fucking nuke because his stepdad was John Lithgow or something? I don't really remember.
I know what you're talking about, yes.
Yeah, that one was really weird. It was set in Cornell, not far from us.
Yes, yeah.
It was trying
I can't
to be
remember
war
the name
games
of it,
and failed miserably, but at least it was fun.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Don't go build the nukes, kids. That'll get you put in a list.
Or chasing waterfalls. Yeah.
We offer. Yeah. Don't go doing that either. We offer Patreon. Patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. We got some bonus audios happening over there for the $1 and the $5. $5 gets no more than 4 episodes. And last week we were not able to record a proper Patreon, but the $1 and the $5 tier both got the Cryptonaut Halloween special video. Ooh, where we're being creepy. So if you're on Patreon, you can go check that out.
So
and,
even when you're on death's door, we provide.
Even when we're dying, we're still trying to put shit out there. When I call Rob and Chris on a Monday, I'm like, God damn it, after 2 years, I have succumbed to the COVID. And finally, I dodged it. I dodged it for so goddamn long.
Good.
And it got me.
Dude, I swear, I look at us now, I see how we're doing. It's like we're all Oliver Platt and Flatliners. Like, none of us are young. Yeah. We're like all middle-aged Oliver Platt and Flatliners now. We're all facing death constantly. There's no Julia Roberts or young Kiefer Sutherlands. We're just fucking post-Lake Placid Oliver Platts just doing the best we can.
We're just out here trying every day, folks. There you have it. Thank you all so very much. Happy Halloween. And
Happy Halloween.
Talking to you soon.
Keep it spooky, fuckers.
Goodbye, Christopher and Robert.
Goodbye, Mark and Christopher. I shall miss you.
It is my Russian, I guess.
I suppose, yeah. I don't even know what it is. Do your Bela Lugosi one last time for the Halloween season.
Christopher and Robert, good night. And
dude, I love
spooky.
You just made my fucking night, dude. Thank you.
I made Chris laugh again. Full mouth. He full mouth laughed, motherfucker. I saw it.
Yeah, it was delightful.